Hey guys, so this is my Singer 107W1. It's a straight and zigzag stitch industrial sewing machine with a rear facing rotary hook. It's belt and gear driven, super smooth, super fast. Overall, I'm really impressed with this machine. I did another video on how to adjust the needle throw timing, that is the side to side zigzag timing in relation to the needle penetration. But this refurbished job just got quite a bit more complicated. I could not set, when I set the stitch width to 0, there was a slight zigzag. And I know from experiences dealing with other zigzag machines that it was from the this part here. This is just a holder piece, that little rod sticking out. That's just to hold the gears in place. But I knew it was from this section of the pitman arm here that controls the zigzag motion. And so I realized I was going to have to take it apart because I never dealt with one of these. I can't find a part schematic, etc. So I thought I would just pull it apart. It was like a little puzzle, which is half the appeal in restoring these machines. But I thought I would show you guys what it looks like on the inside if you have one of these and you have a similar problem. Kind of annoyed that I had to do this, but at the same time, I always enjoy learning about the different designs on these machines, and it also gives me an opportunity to polish up all of the contact points and get rid of that varnish that accumulates. You can see there's a little bit of residual there that I haven't cleaned off yet. That makes these parts sticky. So you tear it down, it gets smoother and smoother. So it is. I think it's worth the effort in the end, especially if you can't get it in adjustment. But so. To remove this whole assembly, and I'm going to show you how this works, there are 2 set screws on the collar and the back. You need to remove that. You need to remove that collar. There are 2 set screws on the gear. You need to totally loosen those. There are 2 set screws. Once you remove this faceplate here, you'll see that there are 2 screws. This is what's going to be directly behind. And you'll see there are 2 screws in there. Don't touch those. Don't mess with them because they're setting basically a pin, adjustment pin. It's setting that's basically putting the pins in that hole, an adjustment pin in that hole. So if you loosen these and you try to drive out this rear shaft, you're going to risk bending those parts because they're going to get locked up in that hole. And now, if you can't drive these 2 pieces out as one together, then you're going to have to drive out the shaft and it's going to have to just go back and forth between the 2 to try to pry them out. If you do decide to go that route, or you have to go that route, then you need to remove everything that's in this one and everything that's in this one completely. So in one side, there will be a little screw here with the spring, and then kind of like a little piston-looking shape. This is to apply pressure to the opposite side of the hole here. So you can remove. Oops, don't want to lose the parts either. So you remove those, and then on the other side is going to be your A and B adjustment screws. So A is just a short little set screw, and then B is a set screw with this long piece here, and that's what goes into that hole. And let me show you how this works. So if you remove both those pieces, then you don't have to worry about the interference between these 2 pieces and bending anything or damaging anything. So you'll see that this piece pivots right here, right? So this is basically what's happening. This rod, this is looking from the back of the machine forward. So this rod sits on this outer piece here. This inner sleeve moves, and it moves based on how far in you screw your stitch width adjustment knob. I'm trying to grab it here. It's right here. So the further you screw this in, the more that this piece moves here. And what's basically happening is these two pieces are interacting. And so the more you screw this in, you see how this end's tapered. The more you screw it in, the further this movable section pivots. And the further it pivots off center. So when your stitch length is set to 0, it's in this position. You could see how this rod is centered perfectly around this circle here. This is a ring that this arm rides around or on. As you screw that in, the screw head pushes and pivots it further off center. And the more off center it goes, the greater the eccentric motion and the greater the zigzag width. So what's happening on the other side is there's just a spring that's pushing against the shaft. So the reason why I was able to shorten the stitch length by loosening that screw was because there was less spring pressure. And so when I loosened it up, it was creating a little bit of slop. And that's where I was seeing that. But so this is exactly how the system works. I mean, look how bomb-proof this is, so robust, just to create this little eccentric here. It's so cool. I mean, so to reassemble this, basically what you're going to have to do is you slide this on, and you're going to sight down that hole, and you're going to line this opening up with the hole, and you need to get it dead on. And then you're going to tighten down those set screws, and you're good there. And then you're going to go ahead and put in the spring assembly, and then put in that other stop screw assembly, essentially that controls the throw of the pitman arm by how far in this is adjusted. So the further in you go, the less throw you're going to have. The further out it gets screwed, the further out, the more throw. The further in, the less, because this won't be able to go as far in to push it far off center. So I don't know. That was kind of a mouthful, and probably should have maybe given that a take or two to try to figure out what I wanted to say. But hey, I just wanted to get the information out there, and I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time. So hopefully that helps you guys seeing what this looks like if you have to tear it apart, and you know the procedure for tearing it apart. Now that everything's clean, I'm gonna go through and clean everything. I'm gonna get this adjustment spot on. Hopefully when I reinstall it, I'll be able to do a straight stitch, and this rod and everything will be dead center. I'm gonna play around and just make sure there was nothing blocking here to keep this from being able to pivot and everything else. So yeah, just thought I'd try to squeeze that in there and show you guys what that front end of this eccentric looks like for adjusting the right side, or the throw of the pitman arm for your zigzag width. So that's what that whole assembly looks like. And really, if you didn't, I mean, you could take out a lot of these components if you didn't even want to run this machine as zigzag. You just want it as a straight stitch. I mean, that's all this is all the sync controls. Pretty cool. So there it is, Singer 107W1, how to roughly how to reassemble this and remove it. So hope that helps, guys. Have a good one.